Good day, shipmates. This is Chief Self, and we're going to be doing some required training on sexual harassment, hazing, bullying, and bystander intervention training. Hazing, what is it? What can I do about it? The definition of hazing is that hazing includes any humiliating or dangerous activity expected of a student in order to join a group, regardless of that student's willingness to participate. Even if they're willing to participate, they can still be subject to hazing. In general, hazing is activities involving an unreasonable risk of physical harm, including paddling, beating, whipping, branding, electric shock, sleep deprivation, exposure to weather, placement of harmful substances on the body, and participation in physically dangerous activities. Activities that subject a student to an extreme and unreasonable level of embarrassment, shame, or humiliation, or which create a hostile, abusive, and intimidating environment for the student. Activities involving any violation of federal, state, and local law, or any violation of school policies and regulations. What if I've been hazed? You communicate your displeasure to the person initiating the hazing activity. And if they don't cease and desist, then you report the incident. The best prevention: taking it seriously and discuss it with everyone. We want to create an atmosphere where hazing is not tolerated. Make sure you understand what activities are considered to be hazing. If it's going to make a person feel awkward or embarrassed or humiliated, it's safe to assume that that's hazing. Recognize that a willingness to participate on the part of the hazing recipients does not absolve offending parties of responsibility. Just because a person is willing to be hazed, to submit to hazing so that they feel included, does not mean that the group that person is wanting to join does not mean that it's okay for them to haze that person. Do not dismiss acts that are considered to be traditions or initiations. Model respect and be conscious of others. Now, I would know this pretty well. I'm a Chief Petty Officer. I am an initiated Chief Petty Officer. Throughout the years, the Navy has gotten rid of the term initiation. They've changed it to things such as transition or training. When I went through, it was considered training. And it's because there has been a history of hazing in the traditional Chief Petty Officer initiation. And so great pains have been exercised to no longer have those hazing rituals that have been so well known throughout the decades. All right, we're going to talk about sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is criminal. Sexual harassment is defined by the law as any unwanted attention of a sexual nature. And that attention can be, it can be just somebody talking about somebody else behind their back and ruining their reputation. Myths versus facts. Sexual harassment is a harmless joke that doesn't hurt anyone. That's a myth. Girls ask to be sexually harassed by the way they dress or behave. That's also a myth. There's nothing a person can do to stop harassment. Guys cannot be sexually harassed. Girls like to be sexually harassed. It's a way of complimenting someone. Sexual harassment is the same as flirting. And these are all myths. I want to make that explicit. These are all myths. Do you think sexual harassment happens to most in middle school or high school or college? So an independent study by the American Association of University Women Educational Foundation found that 76% of boys and 85% of girls have been sexually harassed during middle school. And you probably, either if you haven't been sexually harassed, you have probably known somebody who has, and God forbid, but some of you may have actually done some harassing. Students most often experience sexual harassment for the first time during 6th through ninth grade. 81% of students will experience some form of sexual harassment at some time while they are in school, with 27% experiencing it often. So is sexual harassment all about boys harassing girls? No. 76% of high school boys reported unwanted sexual behavior that interferes with their lives. 18% of boys were targeted often. 42% of boys have been inappropriately touched, grabbed, or pinched. 23% of boys have been called gay in a derogatory manner. So where does sexual harassment occur in schools? Hallways, classrooms, the school grounds, gym or playing fields, the cafeteria, the school bus, on a field trip, school parking lot, locker rooms, restrooms. 3 types of sexual harassment are visual harassment, inappropriate instant message or email, bathroom wall graffiti, showing someone inappropriate pictures that makes them feel uncomfortable, or obscene gestures. It can be verbal, such as dirty jokes, comments about someone's body, spreading rumors of a sexual nature. Or it can be physical, grabbing or touching someone that makes them feel uncomfortable, unwanted hugging or kissing. So, the difference between flirting versus sexual harassment. Flirting is a welcome attention. Okay? Flirting goes both ways. Flirting makes you feel attractive. Flirting makes you feel in control. Flirting makes you feel good about yourself. And flirting is legal. Sexual harassment makes us feel uncomfortable. It's one-sided. It's one person toward another. And it feels degrading to the person who's being harassed. Sexual harassment makes you feel powerless. It can make you feel bad about yourself. And it is a violation of school rules, and it is illegal. You can actually go to jail for sexual harassment. How does sexual harassment affect the victim? Some of the physical effects. Changes in body weight. A person who has been harassed can feel bad about themselves and can begin being self-destructive, such as doing what it takes to gain weight. They can develop an illness such as depression and anxiety, dependence on alcohol and drugs, headaches, stomach aches, sleeplessness, and ulcers. Some of the emotional effects are anger and irritability, depression. When I was talking about the physical effects, and I mentioned depression, I'm talking about it can exacerbate clinical depression, and a person can begin having signs and symptoms of depression. Loss of trust in others, embarrassment, a low self-esteem. They don't feel good about themselves as human beings. They don't feel like they have any dignity, any God-given dignity. Fear, intimidated. They feel self-blame, and they feel powerless. Some of the school performance effects. These are things that you can see in the school. You can see acting out. People get frustrated, and so they may yell at somebody and curse at them for no reason at all. Damaged reputation. Drop in quality of work because they have a lot on their minds. Their grades decline as a result of that. They may want to switch schools to try and escape the situation that they're in. They might try and switch classes. Sometimes they're tardy or they skip school, such as truancy. So what to do if it happens to you? The first thing is you need to communicate to your harasser what you are feeling and that you expect the behavior to stop. You can do this verbally or in writing. If you choose, you may get help and support from a friend, parent, professional, or other trusted adult. If the person doesn't stop when you ask them to, you report the harassment to the appropriate person in your school, including a teacher, a counselor, or administrator, and tell your parents. It's vital that you tell your parents or guardian. Document exactly what happened, giving as many details and quotes when possible. Dates and times are very helpful. Step 3. If the behavior is repeated again, go to a person in higher authority, such as a school board member or superintendent. You've got to be persistent on this. It's illegal and there's no reason why you should be subject to it. How can you help? Refuse to join in when you see someone being harassed. Don't ignore it. If you feel safe doing so, step in and interrupt the harassment. Tell the person that what they're doing is wrong and that they need to stop. Get support. Tell an adult that you trust. Don't be a bystander. Don't be just a bystander watching what's going on and being apathetic and uncaring. Talk to the person being harassed and try to get them to talk to an adult. Offer to go with them. Overall, be supportive and encourage them. Let them know that it's not their fault and that you as a person care for them and want to see them be treated with dignity and respect. So bullying. This is our next subject. Bullying is hurting other people just for the sake of hurting them. Remember the golden rule, to do unto others as you would have them do unto you, not do unto others as they do unto you, but as you would have them do unto you. The definition of bullying is behavior that is intentional, hurtful, and repeated by one or more persons. Bullied students are teased, harassed, and assaulted verbally or physically, or sometimes both. Did you know the word bully used to mean the total opposite of what it means now? 500 years ago, it meant friend, family member, or sweetheart. Two types of bullying. There's direct bullying, and there's indirect bullying. Direct bullying is physical, hitting, kicking, pushing, stealing, hiding, or ruining someone's things. Making someone do something they don't want to do. It's a little different from hazing in that oftentimes the person being hazed is submitting themselves to mistreatment so that they can feel included and belong. Bullying, however, nobody wants to be bullied. They don't want to be part of that group, but the bullies are hurting them for their own reasons. Verbal bullying, name calling, teasing, insulting, and threats. Indirect bullying, relationship bullying, gossiping, spreading rumors and lies about someone. And this can also be done in sexual harassment as well. Making someone feel left out or rejected. Hey, we're not going to include so-and-so because they're ugly, or they smell funny, or nobody likes them. Bullying can be one person making fun of another. It can be one person trying to beat up another. Or it can be a group of people ganging up against others. So you decide. Jennifer recently broke up with her boyfriend Andrew. Andrew is now dating Melissa. Jennifer convinces all of her friends not to speak or hang out with Melissa anymore. Is this bullying? And the answer to that would be yes. When John walks in the hallway to his class, Chris repeatedly knocks his books out of his hand every day. Is this bullying? Yes, it is. He's causing damage to something that belongs to John. How does it make you feel? How does bullying make you feel? It makes you feel alone, hurt, depressed. You can feel anxious or scared. Or you can feel bad about yourself. You can feel like you don't have any dignity because people constantly beat up on you. Does it have to be a part of growing up? It does not have to be a part of growing up. Not at all. Each and every person has the right to feel safe in school and in life. And it's because we all have dignity as human beings. Who is a bully? Some characteristics of a bully. They're excited by their bullying behavior. It, it gives them an adrenaline rush. They enjoy feelings of power and control, oftentimes because they're experiencing loss of control and they have no power to speak their minds, maybe at home, or maybe they're being bullied as well. They enjoy causing pain. Now, sometimes a bully is just a sociopath. They just like to hurt other people, um, and there's something wrong with them because, which makes them enjoy causing pain in others. They can be a below average, average, or above average student. Oftentimes, a below average student, it will make them feel better to hurt somebody else or to put themselves above somebody. Or if they're an average person, they just want to stand out. Or if they're an above average student, they still don't feel well about themselves, and they have to confirm that they feel better. It makes them feel better about themselves if they can make other people feel like less of a human being. Lack compassion and empathy for their targets, for the people that they're hurting. And bullies can be in all shapes and sizes. They can be big, they can be small, be boys or girls. They can be pretty. They can be less attractive than others. So who's a target? Some of the reasons that a person can be bullied: they don't feel like they fit in. They're physically weak. They might be a minority person. Their facial appearance, their clothing. They may have emotional issues. Perhaps they're overweight. Perhaps they get good grades and they're picked on by people who don't have good grades. If you usually are alone and don't have many friends, if you don't have a lot of confidence and you don't stand up for yourself. How to deal with bullying. Ways to avoid future bullying. Don't bring expensive things or money to school. You don't want it to attract attention and make people want to steal your stuff. Hang out with your friends. That will help. There is safety in numbers. Avoid unsupervised areas. You want to be where there are adults or people who have authority, such as the school resource officer, or where the principal is, or where teachers are standing outside of their rooms in between classes. If you're on a bus, you can talk to the bus driver about sitting near the bus driver, or you can walk with the teacher to class. Don't walk alone and avoid places where bullying occurs. Get funny. Don't act scared. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. You have dignity. You have personal dignity. If you're religious, then you probably can understand and recognize that you have been created in the image of your Creator. And because of that, you have dignity. Report it. Report it to a trusted adult immediately. Be a hero. Look out for others who are being bullied. That's being a hero comes from bystanders, and bystanders who actually intervene, not bystanders who just watch what's going on and give consent to it. So be part of the solution, not the problem. Encourage other bystanders to help stop the bullying incident by being assertive. There's a difference between being assertive and being aggressive. Aggression is what a bully does. Being assertive is what it takes to defend somebody who's being bullied, standing up for your rights and standing up for the rights of others. Make friends with someone who continually gets picked on. Everybody needs a friend, and people who don't have very many friends are more likely to yield to suicide, and they feel hopeless. So it's important for us to help them feel like they have personal worth and dignity. Report it or send someone to a trusted adult. You're a key player in stopping bullying. Intervene. Exercise bystander intervention. Why do others let it happen? Some of the reasons they let it happen is the bully is someone others look up to and want to hang out with. People want to associate with powerful people. They want to side with the bully because it makes them feel strong. They're entertained by the bullying. Sometimes people like to see other people get hurt. They don't think speaking up will help, so they let it happen. They're afraid that if they say something, the bully will turn on them. Well, step up, be a leader, and make a difference. Some of the goals for students: we need to recognize reasons why people may not intervene. We need to develop specific intervention skills. Increase motivation and confidence to help. Empower participants to act on their values. Create a safer, healthier, more caring environment. The 5-step decision-making model that you need to know to be a bystander intervener is to notice the event. You need to recognize what's happening and not look away. Interpret it as a problem, and then assume personal responsibility for helping the person who's being bullied. Know how to help, and then step up and do it. All right, if you're a part of a group, it's important that you all create shared and agreed upon standards of behavior, including an expectation to intervene. So what it means is, if as a group of friends, you purpose that you're not going to bully other people, and that you're going to look out for people who are being bullied. You want to emphasize strength in numbers. You never want to find yourself by yourself, and you want to create plans together to avoid high-risk situations. Make it relevant to achieving group goals. Acknowledge and reinforce caring behaviors. So if you see the best qualities of each other are those characteristics, those behaviors that you want to encourage in others, to exhibit towards others. Practice skills and strategies so that you can step up and intervene, and allow group members to air thoughts and feelings. So you find yourself in a bullying situation. It's high emotion. 3 things that you can do: ensure your safety. So you need to make sure that you've got a way to get away as quickly as possible. You want to try and dissipate any of the emotions. So what you do is you have to consciously speak in a calm voice. You can't be patronizing and talk down to people, but you have to speak clearly and logically. And then consider the other person's perspective. Try and put yourself in their shoes. Try and understand why it is that a bully is mistreating somebody. Try and understand why that person might be a target for bullying, and then try and mitigate that circumstance as much as possible. 3 things not to do: don't get caught up in the moment. The emotion has to be brought down. You've got to stay in control of your emotions, and don't one-up the person. So let the person say their piece. Don't try and talk over them, and don't patronize them by talking down to them. Assume personal responsibility. Diffusion of responsibility is bystanders assuming someone else will do something. You may be the only person who can do something, so it's your responsibility to step up. If not you, then who will?